Welcome to my interview with Robert DeGaetano, composer, concert pianist, teacher, and intuitive. With his understanding of musical keys and vibration, Robert's able to tune into people's personal dominant vibration. There he can receive information regarding what music can help inspire us, relax us, and heal us. Robert does soul portraits that are extraordinary and is now offering soul profiles as well that will tell you what key you vibrate to, what music could be the most beneficial for you at different times, for instance, to relax or inspire. Profiles also include what location best suits your key. Robert's music is also available on YouTube with selections like Forgiveness and Perspective and so many more. We invite you to listen to Vulnerable on our homepage, which immediately brings you back to your heart center, the place of love and knowing. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you, Barbara. How are you?
I'm okay.
Good.
We're really happy to be here. Robert, we know everything in life is vibration, and music is certainly vibration. How does that affect us, and how can it heal us?
One of the things that we're very clear about is that everything that we're aware of in life is in motion. And motion is what creates sound. Motion is what creates vibration. The fact that something is solid, it doesn't appear to be in motion. But one of the ways that I've been able to access things, for example, that are solid, like the couch, like a table, like whatever,
right,
is through deep meditation. And I access the actual movement of the cellular structure of something that either is solid or another human being. And that is how I've been able to actually hear, excuse me, how I can hear what something is vibrating to. And we have a system in Western music where we have an alphabetical system where we've chosen a certain vibration as an A, or a certain vibration is a B or C or D. We have the alphabet that goes from A to G. And it's very helpful because that system enables us to know the speed at which a cellular structure is moving. And if a cellular structure is moving rather quickly, which I have discovered through deep meditation, it often will be a C or a C sharp or a D, or even a D sharp, which is kind of the fastest movement in our vibrational system, at least from what I've been able to discover through deep meditation. But I've only been able to hear this through deep meditation. And that's how I discover when something vibrates. And over the years, I've been able to learn what the different vibrations, what information comes from the different vibrations.
Everybody has a vibration, and that vibration tells us what?
Well, there's a couple of things involved in that. Every person has a predominant vibration, but every person is a musical work, and a work of great, great beauty. If one would think about the reality of another human being and what a miracle that is, they could then relate it to a great work of music or a great work of art or a great rose or anything like that. So when you get, like for example, I hear that vibration because I did so much meditation. And when I go into a deep meditation, I'm able to hear the vibration of that person. And by hearing that vibration and giving them an example of what they sound like musically, I think it often helps them a lot in life.
When you compose, when you write your music, where does that inspiration come from?
It was interesting. I studied at Juilliard and to be a concert pianist, and I spent many years just perfecting my art as a pianist. And that required a tremendous amount of discipline. It wasn't until the, I guess it was the mid-'80s, that I became serious about composing. And it was when my maternal grandmother had passed away. And I had no idea that I was interested in composing. I just heard this music suddenly. And I kept talking to friends about this music. Whose music is it? Where is it coming from? I would go to Padelson's, which was a famous music store in New York, looking for the music. Who wrote it? Finally, a friend of mine said, write it down. So I wrote it down, and then I realized it was mine.
Wow.
So it was clear from the beginning that as a composer, the music was being channeled. I was not making it up. When I started realizing that, then I realized certain other things that, like for example, I wrote a work called The Challenger when the Challenger crashed in 1986, because I was so moved by the 7 astronauts that were in that ship that I wanted to commemorate who they were. So I actually wrote a work that was a portrait of all 7 astronauts. And I did it with a photograph of them from Newsweek. And what was fascinating is later on I found out, having channeled all this music, that I was very, very much in tune with who they were. So my music basically is channeled. I mean, that's how I write music. If I decide that I'm going to write about anything, I realize if I'm going to write about that magazine, I take the magazine the night before I sit down to write, and I say, please, dear Lord, tomorrow I'm going to write about this magazine. When I wake up in the morning, the music is there.
Wow.
And I'm a stenographer. I sit down and I write out the music. There is nothing that exists that can't be turned into music, because everything vibrates.
So the couch could be
Absolutely.
music.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
The whole concept is incredible.
It's amazing that everything that we are and that exists is music.
So how do you see the role of music in healing for individuals that come for a soul portrait, which we'll speak about, but also in healing for the planet?
Another interesting question. I believe we're in a time where we're moving in, because of all the new inventions in technology and the world of technology, we're moving to a place where music is going to have a very important role certainly in health. It's already playing a very important role for many people that are involved in the healing arts. I have a friend who's a psychiatrist, who uses many of my recordings for his patients, and apparently helps them a great deal to calm them down. It also helps them to center. So there's a lot of uses of music, but I see we're going to come to a point where technology is going to get so good at being able to create images of vibration that we're going to have a tool that will actually play something that will tell us who we are. Right now I'm doing it because I'm able to do this through deep meditation.
Right.
But I think someday it's going to be second nature for a doctor to say, oh, press a button and this is what you sound like, and you're off, your left shoulder is off. So we're going to fix your left shoulder because it's not vibrating properly.
As far as the role of music in healing, we're going to go back to your soul portraits. So I come to you and I ask you to tune into me, and how does this process begin? How does this evolve?
I've been doing soul portraits for many years now. I started with the Challenger in the 80s, and people became aware that I was doing them, and I would get requests from all over the world, and some of the people I've never met. Sometimes they would send me a photo. Sometimes I would just speak with them on the telephone. I worked with one woman from Japan whom I've never met.
Wow.
I've worked with some very famous people, actors, famous healers. And what I find is that really, what's really important is that whoever would like to get a portrait is very clear on what the process is and agrees to the process. Because in a psychic way, it goes into the person's being. And the person has to be able to agree to that and to trust me with it. And that's very important. And one of the things that I've done over the years is I call them trusts, unless somebody gives me permission to use their name. But they all are called trusts, and they have opus numbers. So
and what's an opus number?
Well, that just tells you when I wrote it and where it is in my catalog.
So you compose a piece, but you're also at the same time receiving information about the person.
Yeah, actually, when I actually do the portrait itself, there's a kind of a holistic thing that takes place where I'm infused with who they are, with their energy, with their soul force, with everything about them, not only their body, but everything about their life, sometimes their past lives.
Wow.
Just everything comes in at once because music is so pervasive. The language of music is so rich that in one chord sometimes you could have tons of information. So all of that comes through sometimes while I'm doing the portrait. And quite often, which is actually interesting in your case, I did your portrait about a year ago, and now I'm looking at the portrait again, and whenever I'm studying something after an extended period of time, I even get more information about a particular portrait.
For people that can't afford to do a portrait, what would be your recommendation for them to help them in their journey if they're looking for answers, if they're looking for help?
Well, I think my personal feeling about that would be to listen to music on a regular basis. Make sure that it's part of your life. Because so often we live in a world where there's so much going on and we miss so much that's right present for us that could be so easily had. And also branch out in music. Don't feel like you have to just stick with one particular kind of music. Try something new because you never know how it's gonna appeal to you. I mean, it's like people that say, oh, I like hamburgers and eat hamburgers the rest of their lives and they never try caviar or whatever. Branch out, at least try it.
What is your parting words on how to balance mind, body, soul?
Love.
What would you say? Oh, it's love. And love is the heart, and love is the music that you play. It's love.
And love is also your mind.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I love being with you. Thank you.
Thank you.